Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Noodles, and we are on the Type 88 show, where we talk to people about how they turn their dreams into reality. And this guy is all about building for the future, supporting others, working as a team to find solutions in the world, Web 3, Web 2, in real life, whatever it is. This guy is always pursuing something, and he always finds time to help other people. Now I'm grateful to call this guy my friend. So I just want to welcome Joe Galifi to the Type 88 show. What's up, man?
What's going on, Dave? How's it going?
It's good to have you here, man.
I'm glad to be here. So I was actually a little curious about how long have you been doing this?
We're going on 5 years doing this.
Wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. 5 years. That really is amazing, dude.
I was thinking that today. I'm like, I'm either loyal to a fault or it's my superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, I just do what I love as much as I can for as long as I can. And I was telling you earlier, it's not the income, it's the outcome, and just
Right.
the feeling that you get from working with people, talking with people, supporting people, it just goes such a long way.
Mm-hmm. And this is good too, as long as, especially that you're consistent about it, because you can learn so much from people, because everybody has a story, everybody's doing something. And it's always interested to hear, their insights and what they're doing. So that's actually, it's really cool that you're doing this consistently, once a week. That's awesome.
Maybe you could kind of tell us a little bit about your story, like growing up. Where'd you grow up? What?
Okay. Born and raised in Staten Island, went to St. Peter's High School. Shout out St. Peter's. After high school, went to College of Mount St. Vincent, which that was, and I dormed there, and that was obviously my first time being on my own. I was fortunate enough to dorm there with one of my best friends, Bobby Drake. Um, and just being that was the first time I was out on my own while we were 16, 17 years old. That kind of really changed my mentality, because before high school I was just a kid, before college I was just a kid, going out, having fun, doing the typical shit. And then you know being in college, I was only there for 2 semesters, by the way. Being in college, really, you get to see more people, experience more things. And that's, where I got my mentality that I have today, of that I just want to, do for the world, do good for the world, be a better person, and just really, start getting on my grind. It's been a process. It's been 10 years. But, after that, I did one other semester at St. Francis. Um, then I did drop out. Which I say that like it's a bad thing. It was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. Um, and I don't advise anybody to drop out, like, because a lot of people need to go to
Yeah.
school, and do that. But for me personally, it was one of the best things, because I started working at a young age, um, at my brother's security business that he just ran up. I wound up actually being a security guard for maybe 2 months, and then at 18 years old, I went to a manager's position, you know, running not running but helping run a company with 50 employees on hand. It was we were doing construction security at the time. He actually has two security businesses, one in nightlife and one in construction. So from the age of 18 to about 21, or 23, I was working with him, helping manage, 50 employees, going site by site for the construction, and then also being a security guard for the nightlife. So it was during the day, hit
Wow.
the construction sites, and then at night hit the clubs and be a bouncer over there. But I'm just this 5'8" kid, just with a suit on, telling people how to act. So that was that whole experience, was invaluable. It taught me so much, the ins and out of businesses. Like I said, I in college, it kind of changed my whole mentality that I wanted to do more with my life. And then just being in that whole scenery for the next few years of my life really got me the credibility, or just me saying, okay, this is a possibility, this is a real thing that you know is could be done, and it's not an if, it's a when. um so that's when I got the mentality. Obviously I left that and I wasn't you know successful yet, but I in my mind I said, i'll I'll never give up on trying to do good for the world, and I'll die trying if that's the reality of it.
Love it.
Yeah. After that, kind of went into a rut. I was working construction for about a good 5 or 6 years. Started as a laborer, actually. Um, um, in the elevators, taking out the garbage, up for these construction sites. So doing like, crazy labor work. Got into um, a project admin position. And, after about almost a full year of doing it, got really depressed. Um, just didn't know what to do with my life. Still had the motivation that never went away, but just the whole, waking up, being in that whole environment just really messed with me. I wouldn't say, both physically and mentally. Um,
Yeah.
and COVID happened. That was actually in 2020. I wound up getting laid off from that job. Um, and then I started, just getting into, crypto, and, I got really good at, navigating, tools for how, people use them. So I started posting, ads on Craigslist.
Yeah.
I'm not going to advise you of what to do, but if you want to do something, I'll teach you how to do it. Like if you want to buy an NFT, I'll walk you through how to do it. If you want to buy this token, I'll walk you through, but I won't advise. So I was doing that a little bit. Um, Fast forward a few years.
So wait,
Uh,
so a lot happened, right? So let's bring it back a little bit. You
sure.
you gotta, because you took me on a quick journey, real quick.
Mm,
You were involved with these industries that were very busy. You know, the
mm,
construction industry. You're dealing with huge projects. You're dealing with big dogs working on whatever it is, bridges,
mm,
tolls, tunnels,
yeah.
what homes, buildings.
The skyscraper in
You're
Manhattan.
dealing
Yeah.
with like money.
Mm,
People doing big projects. That's very responsible stuff.
mm,
It's not like simple things, right?
right.
You're dealing with that. Then you're also in an industry seeing people kind of out there, either partying, big DJs.
Mm,
It's a whole other industry, but they're both industries where people are. You kind of have to pay to play, right? Like you have to.
of
They're
course, you got to
you know
be in
they're
it.
they're people that are like out there, right? And you're
Mm,
seeing people that are successful going to these clubs, building, working on these projects,
right.
contracting
It's
you.
like for the whole construction, you can't miss a phone call because that could cost a meeting, which could miss materials to get onto the site and delay the project a week. Just like with the nightlife, you can't miss a night because you could miss a contact that could be really useful for your networking. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
So so to be thrown in that, a lot of people, we're getting these jobs out of college. It could be, or even in college, it could be like something fast food related. It could be
Mm,
something local, a deli delivering food. You were kind of thrown into these like these are jobs that I know people 30 plus, 40 plus
mm,
have,
mm.
managing these big big situations. So right out the gate, you were given this responsibility. Shout out to your brother, kind of throwing you in the lion's den, basically.
Yeah, right. And shout out to his name's Justin Galifi. The values he taught me are invaluable.
Yeah,
Um, And from the age of 18, I couldn't thank him enough.
Yeah, because at that age, it's a very wandering age. You're just trying to figure it out. You're like, oh, do I like rap? Do I like this? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be this, but this too. But then you were kind of just thrown in the lion's den to like kind of fend for yourself in a way and learn on the fly. Of course, with mentors and people aside you, but like you had a that's great, to be in those situations with people and mentors looking
Mm-hmm.
out for you. So your brother, shout out to him and everyone else. And then of course life happens. Now you're involved with this job, and then boom, all of a sudden now you got to figure it out. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
well, and it was at a time where a lot of people would be like, whatever.
Right.
Government got me. I'm gonna sit home. I'll make more doing that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which some of them had to do that, and then some it kind of maybe made it a little easier. Like, oh well, why even work anyway?
Right.
Because I'm making more doing a little less or
Right.
next to
Of
nothing.
course.
It was an interesting time. It was a hard time for many people. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
downplaying any of that, but money was coming in rather easily for people working who had jobs or didn't. And I knew people that weren't working before that were making more than people who had jobs and essential workers. But that's a whole other thing. You were kind of thrown in now this isolated place where you kind of had to figure it out. Like, do I keep working? Do I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
take the lazy route? And you're like, nah, I want to do something to help people and figure this out. So you get into this whole new world of crypto and assisting people even figure out how to buy like certain things or even
Mm-hmm.
open up like like a wallet or whatever, because I know that's pretty complicated
In the
for most
beginning, that
people.
was
And
mainly my business was,
yeah,
a lot of what they call the meme coins. Like, okay, Dogecoin is, but it's on Robinhood. But, for example, SafeMoon, a lot of people heard about it and just wanted in, but didn't know how to buy it. They
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know anybody. So we would set up either Zoom calls just like this or phone calls where, for a good for almost a full year, I was just and other stuff as of course, but I was just teaching people how to get into the game because even when I first started, I said, what, I don't want to advise anybody. It's so volatile. Um, nobody knows what they're talking about. People say, oh, this. It's okay. It could, or it could not. You could create the greatest thing, you know, brought to earth in crypto, but if nobody latches onto it and there's no community for it, it flops. So everything could be great, but I've always told myself I never want to advise people on what to buy and when to buy, and just help people get started, you know, investing on their own terms.
yeah. That's so cool, man.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy where they're talking about it, looking back a few years ago to now, it's wild.
Yeah, it's just so cool, right? Like if you just put your mind to
Mm.
anything and you
Right.
just give it your all. As you said, you started off just hungry, wanting to make a difference. How could I help people? And then it was like, well, I learned this.
Mm.
I could help them this way. Oh, and then there was a demand for it. People were asking you, hey, I want to get in. I want to learn about this. I want to get this going. And now you have a chief blockchain. I didn't even know that that's a position,
It's
which
it's
is
a new
really
position
cool.
in a brand new industry. Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's crazy
awesome,
though.
man.
Yeah. So from working in construction to let's say what I'm doing now, and even what I'm doing now and the security, what really gets me going and really drives me is the fact that you're helping people, you're making a difference in people's lives, and then working with other businesses and companies and even me personally creating new things to actually make a difference in the environment, the world, people's lives, how people interact on a day-to-day basis. That really drives me, and that's has been my biggest motivator from 17. So that doing that now is almost surreal in a sense. And I look forward to future projects to make it on an even bigger scale. But just dipping my toes in the water right now, it's a nice feeling.
That's beautiful, man. It starts with that idea, and then of course the building, and then it's just the consistent hitting the pavement, right? And just keep running and keep training, whatever it is, those daily efforts that just go towards the bigger picture. So,
Right.
you're building you had the idea, you're spending all this time now building it and creating an ecosystem where people can vote on how to support charities, you
Mm.
know, have a token, however they need to be involved, and then giving them the chance to kind of
To contribute,
to
yeah.
keep going and
Mm.
building it with you,
Right.
and that's what it's about, man. There's no success overnight, and you know this, right? Like
Hmm.
I tell anyone, like whatever you love to do, just be willing to do it all the time, and just build it, and just keep building every day. Like once it's built, it's not just built. It's like now you have a home.
Mm.
The home could go to shit if you're
Right.
not keeping it clean, taking care of the garden.
Hmm.
There's all these responsibilities to what you're building,
Right. And
and
it's so crazy, the journey of building because, you know, we've been in the, we've been working on this project for about 4 months now. Development is going to be ready in, 3 weeks from today, which is super exciting. So just, how the ideas changed throughout the whole process of the 4 months and, how it got developed and, what worked, what didn't work was really, you know, it was a really nice journey, because nothing starts off with 100%, right? Like even the design, we created a design, it wasn't 100%, but gradually over time, you just keep adding to it, keep, spending that hour or a couple hours, just really making it better. And then, until you're in that position of, okay, the world is ready for this.
yeah, and it's so crazy, right? Like I think about this all the time. I'm like I think of these big brands, and then I'm like, does the logo even matter, right?
Mm,
It's like it we remember it, but we remember more. We remember what these companies do
mm,
and what they've done and what they continue to do.
right.
Like the Apple logo could be an exclamation mark with a bunch
Hmm.
of zebra stripes, and
But
that
it,
wouldn't make
it
sense, right? But we
uh-huh,
would
right.
still, it would be iconic to us, not because the logo's iconic, but it's what they've done
Of
on
course,
on
the impact
for
that they've had
decades,
on. Mm,
and that's what
absolutely.
matters. And
Absolutely. Sorry, I got a little dry mouth, but after this, again, we're doing this to make an actual difference in the world. But I'm excited to see what comes next in life too. After this, after the next project, and again, the main goal is to just always innovate. See how you could make people's day-to-day lives better. Businesses run better. It's exciting stuff.
it's great to hear, dude. Yeah, it's great. I'm just excited to see where it goes, right? Because once something's available,
Mm,
there's a whole new set of learning. There's a whole
right.
new, right? Because we spent all this time. I could spend all this time building the next boombox,
Mm,
but until it's actually put in the hands of people, or I bring it to an event, and then the battery goes, or like the
right.
Bluetooth something
Uh-huh.
happens, and not that you want them to, but it's like those learning moments, like oh wow,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
button here on the site, oh we could put it here because people
Uh-huh.
see it right away.
Hmm.
So that's going to be the fun part now, right? Once it becomes available and people start interacting with it, and then you learn from those interactions. So I'm excited for you, man, to just see where it goes, because I know what goes into building stuff, but then I also know the continuing
Mm.
feeding of that thing and making
Right.
sure that you're just continuously learning, working on new stuff, adding to it, even
Mm.
taking away,
Right.
whatever it is to kind of make it the best thing that you see and your vision. So,
Right. And just to throw this out there, we're speaking about This Is Mine. So I do also have two other partners, Jonathan and Suraj, that are heavily involved, and
oh
they've been
yeah,
amazing throughout this journey.
there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of brain power and physical,
Right. Well,
how do you stay motivated?
first, it making that decision, whether and again, I made it when I was 17, but I firmly believe that you could make this decision at any age, at any age you make this decision that you want it, and that you're very serious about getting to where you want to get. Um, so by all means, I am not a fast learner. I'm more of a slow learner. But you know, because I have that want of doing something greater, wanting having a sense of doing something for this world. It's almost as if what my wants are not so much irrelevant, but they could there's so much time throughout the day that you could really put your wants to the side to get the things done that you have to get done, and then you could have fun in the process. There's no way you should people should you know I also set myself up in a position that we could also work and play at the same time, and it's not this super serious. So that's also a big part of it, and I know a lot of people don't have that um,
Yeah.
that privilege of that work and play, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know
This is your recipe, right?
yeah, absolutely. But so a lot of things is even if I have a crazy stressful day, I'll always find time to do something that's fun, whether it's you know even gaming with Mark or a couple friends, or going out midday for a night, like a nice lunch, or going to the gym midday just to, keep things going.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really the biggest way that I keep on going, is to incorporate that something that, stimulates my brain in a fun manner throughout the, working part of the day.
I love it. No,
Yeah,
that's great advice, man. And from
absolutely. Even
yeah,
even taking a step back, just for a little bit, so you're not just focused, because if you're just infatuated with one thing for 100% of your time, that's all you're going to think about. You're going to bring it into every other aspect of your life: work life, home life, family life, friends life. And it's not healthy. So just really finding that time. And hobbies is obviously huge as well.
and what are
Like
some of
that.
yours?
um so I play guitar, piano, and drums. That's, to me, just crazy therapeutic. Uh and it's gonna sound a little nerdy, but I always had was infatuated by technology and innovation. So whether it's I don't watch TV or listen to the radio, but whether it's you know listening to a new album, or playing a new video game, or spending a couple hours on YouTube watching. Right now, on Tuesday we have another Apple event. I'll probably spend that afternoon watching that event, just because that's something that I'm just genuinely interested in. So like things of that nature.
That's I agree.
Yeah.
It's so important to just step back
Mm-hmm.
and just there's so many benefits to it. We could have multiple purposes. It's
Mm-hmm.
not this, oh, my job is my purpose and nothing else. It's like my family and what goes into that to maintain that, right? Like it's not just working at your job all day
Right.
is going to be there to benefit your family. It's an element. There's all
Mm-hmm.
these elements, right? Like there's elements of hip hop. There's elements to everything we do, right? And it's cool that you're in a stressful environment, but you still find a chance to break away so you could
Mm.
come back in and be refreshed and be not overwhelmed.
And
But
trust me, I wasn't always like this. I don't know when it changed or how it changed, but it definitely was not always like this. Where I just wasn't stressed out all the time. It just came from that thought that everything's going to be okay one day. It's gonna work out. We're gonna make it. Just that constant thought in the back of your head. Over time, I guess it just clicked.
yeah, you basically we become what we say we want to become, right? But
Mm.
then we could also become the thing we could almost convince ourselves anything. We could be like,
Mm.
yo, this is the
The
worst week
main thing
ever,
is
or
consistency.
this is the best week ever.
Mm. Right,
And it's like, what filter do you want to put on
right,
what you're
right. It's
looking
like
at?
if you wake up in the morning and you're just like, oh, it's raining. It's going to be a shitty day. It's going to be a shitty day. But if you wake up, you're raining. It's like, okay, got to go to the gym today. Like we could spend the day in watching YouTube, like Netflix or gaming. Then it's going to be a pretty nice day.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think those things just go such a long way. And just hearing your attitude, how you were kind of thrown into this busy world as a young lad,
Mm.
trying to
Right.
just figure out how to help, do whatever, finding mentors that were involved with these busy industries. they you just kept looking, right? And you kept
Mm.
finding a way to find a way, right? And then you gave people a chance to find their way, and I think that's
Right.
so key. Bro, the future's bright for you, man. I'm excited to see what you do next. Well, what you build next. I'm excited to see the giving pool and all these projects that you're working on.
Well, I appreciate it, and speaking with you and being your actual friend, the future is definitely bright for you as well. Um, and
Thank you, man.
you'll be along my journey, I'll be along your journey, and I'm definitely excited for that.
I just want to shout out to you for being just a real human and just having compassion for people and putting people at first. I appreciate who you are and everything you're doing out there, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot. But
Yeah,
I appreciate you just as much.
yeah, and shout out to Mark, still breathing, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
Tom
Tom
D.
D. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to them for connecting us, and bro, I'm really excited. If anyone, this guy right here, he literally he's sat down with me, taking time out of his day to give me advice and just moral support on projects that I was trying to understand or things that I was like in the early stages, and you've been I really appreciate it, my dude.
Of course, anytime, Dave. Anytime. Yeah.
Yo, man, keep making the world a better place. I can't wait to see what you build next and all these things you're working on. I'm excited to see where they go and the impact that you have, man.
And just to say before we, finish up, that I have my phone straight, my head straight, but I know it looks crooked. So for anybody seeing this, that it's crooked, it's not intentional. Okay.
I want to just thank everyone for tuning in to the Type 88 show. I'm blessed to have awesome guests every week sharing their stories, their dreams, what they've been through to get to where they are, where they're trying to go next, and how they even find time during the hecticness or the building process. And like, we got some gems today from my dude. He kind of just jumped into the fire almost of
Mm.
stressful environments, and he found a way, and he talked about who he was around and about how his brother was a key component to kind of being there with him during a time where he was growing. And also he just stayed curious. This guy, he just, no matter what, he was during a time where a lot of people were just like, oh, I'm good, I don't know what to do next. He was like, hey, I want to learn, and then I want to help people learn. And he just kept pushing. And now he's working with big companies and build and helping other people build them. So, there's so many things you can learn from this guy. I'm excited to just see what you do next, my dude. You're always welcome back.
Well, thank you, Dave. I definitely appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for listening. And that was a great podcast.
So yeah, everyone remember, don't stop dreaming. And when I say it, I mean having the dream, but then finding a way to make
Having
it a
the dream,
reality.
stay consistent, and just don't stop. Just
Yeah.
don't stop. It could take you years. It could take you 15 years, 20 years. Just don't stop.